guys, so welcome back to Lex Reads. So in today's video, I'm going to be doing my October wrap up. And you guys know with my wrap up, I talk about the books, music, and the movies that I watched the whole entire month. Now this month was really good. I read 4 books, and then when it came to the movies, watch a lot of things that were out of my comfort zone because of Halloween. Even though y'all know I don't do nothing scary, I don't do nothing horror, anything like that. I can take mysteries and I can take thrillers. Surprisingly, which I'll talk about later, but I watched something that was what that would be considered a horror movie. But yeah, guys, let's just get started. But before we do, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. All right, so y'all excuse my hat, my hair not did. Okay, so I gotta wash, condition it, and put my weave in. But for books, like I said, I read 4 books this month. So the first book I read was Coleman Hill by Kim Coleman Foote. I actually don't own this book. This is our book club pick for Lex Reads for the month of October. And I'm so glad that I did not buy that book. I was not really a fan of this book. Um, I gave it personally about a 2.5. I have to say, when we did our book club discussion, it made the book even better for me, if that's possible, because of the conversation that we had. It was such a great conversation. I love hearing everybody's perspectives, and that's one thing I love about a book club, where you might not enjoy the book, but having the book club, you just hear so many different perspectives. You hear how, people perceive some characters or events, and it just makes the book, in my opinion, sometimes better. And that was the prime example for this book. You have 2 friends migrate from the south. They migrate from the south to the north, and it's from like 1916s all the way to like the 1980s. These friends, their children grow up together. Some of them get married and just have relationships. It was so messy. And y'all know how I love my drama and tea, but the thing that I don't like is when children get abused and trauma. I can't take that. It just tugs at my heart, and I hate to read books. Um, well, I don't want to say hate, but I dislike sometimes to read books that deal with so much heavy, heavy trauma with children, especially if they don't get out of the situation. I can kind of deal with it where, like in the beginning of the story, where the kid just going through everything, all right, and it's just heartbreaking. But, eventually they get out of it, even when they're still a kid. This, no, mm-mm. These kids suffered. I would have to say, though, the writing was good. The writing was good. It just was all over the place. There were so many characters. One of the book club members, shout out to Linda, she said this is a very interesting read. And that was the perfect way to put it. It's a very interesting read. That's what I would have to say. So someone will be like, should I read this book? I'm going to say it's real interesting. Take it or leave it. Next, I listened to a book, and it's called I Found My Forever in You. And this is by, is it Nisha? This one, okay, Lord, what was this about? Because I read this like the beginning of October. You have a girl, young girl. Her boyfriend takes her on a trip and basically tells her, um, I have multiple wives and girlfriends, and I want you to be a part of the group. And she like, oh no, 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 no. So she comes back home. Someone is in her house. Her realtor has made her house into not a bread and breakfast. Y'all know, girl, I forgot what it's called. I'll put it down below. But she just tells him, well, you can stay basically. But she's still kind of guarded. He's real nice, real easy on the eyes, because, they are living together in her house. They develop a little, friendship. And then it comes, even more than that. It was a cute little story. I really did enjoy it. I like the narrator. That I like the narrator for the woman. The guy was horrible. He felt like he just was, no shade to him, literally just felt like he just was reading a book, in front of the class. That's what it felt like to me. But overall, like I said, I really did like this story. I think I want to read more from this author. The next book was Roll of Thunder, Hear My Cry by Mildred D. Taylor. And because of Kayla book is Vibes, when our book club pick for September, she said that book that we were reading, it reminded her of like a little bit of right sound, kind of like the vibe. It reminded her of Roll of Thunder, Hear My Cry. And I had this book for years. And I remember I wanted to get this copy and never read it. I was, you know how you pick up a book, you can say you're going to read it, but you don't. But when she said that, I said, you know what? I really want to read this. And I know this is a classic when it comes to, middle grade. I'm so glad that I did. The Logan family, little man, he had my heart. TJ got on my last nerve. I had to keep on telling myself, girl, he a child. Okay, he a child. This was such a great read. As of now, I'm not going to continue on with the series, but I am kind of curious what happened to TJ. If you guys have read this book, but you know how sometimes you just kind of want to keep the story like where it is. That's how I am right now with this. But this is a book I would highly recommend. If you have little ones, especially middle grade. This book, it says age 10 and up. I would highly recommend this. It was such a great book. Hopefully, you still can get it because, again, with this current administration, they just banning books for no reason, and especially if it's a black author, they banning. I don't know if this is. I don't know if this is on the book ban list, which it shouldn't be, because it's real life. But again, y'all know how they do. Okay. And then the last book I read was In Deadly Company by L.S. Stratton. This is her newest book that came out last month. Remember, I told you guys I really wanted to read a thriller in the month of October, due to like, Halloween and the kind of spooky season. And I had read her first book and really did enjoy it. And I got this, and the publishers actually sent this book to me. I was lightweight, kind of not disappointed, but it was a womp womp. I gave this book 3 stars. I do have to say, the like who done it, I did not know. It's like you wouldn't figure it out. So that was a plus. But when for me personally, when I found out, you know, who it was like, oh, okay. Wanted my reaction to be like, oh my gosh, but for some reason it just was not. And I think again with this book, what I thought was a little bit unnecessary was the present time when they're shooting the film. I didn't think that was necessary to put that in there. You have a young black girl, she works in corporate America, five and her boss is horrible. He's a privileged, white male that just got the business from his mom. Something tragic happened. He wants to have this big birthday bash, and almost everybody at the birthday bash gets killed except her. And then like a year later, Hollywood has bought the rights to her story into the movie and they want to tell it. It was just kind of like, I thought that part was little, she didn't even need to put that in there. My thing is just tell the story of how, okay, you got a horrible boss and then he got this birthday bash and something, crazy happens. I just think that part of the story was like every time it got to like the present time, I was a little bit like, okay, can you please hurry up? I don't care about the making of the movie. I don't care about the now. I want to know what happened before. You know what I mean? So that was the only part that kind of got annoyed with me. But overall, I would say I would recommend this book. If you want a good, if you want a thriller that you're not going to figure out, like who done it, this would be a perfect one. She does have, again, this is my second book, she does do a really good job of not of you not figuring out, you know, the situation, which that's like key when it comes to a, thriller mystery. So she does a really good job. I do want to read her, this is her third book. I want to read her second book. Just to see if her style has changed. I kind of did it backwards because I really did want to read this book because of the synopsis was so good. And then I think also too the cover got me, and the way that the publisher sent, the package, it just was really, really nice. And then I did say I wanted to read a thriller. So I was really proud of myself that I read a thriller the month of October. So yeah, guys, that's it when it comes to the books. Now let's go to the movies. So you remember I was telling you guys earlier how I wanted to read, I wanted to watch something that was in the like Halloween type of mood, and I also want to watch things that are out of my comfort zone, which basically, if I'm watching a thriller, a mystery, that's out of my comfort zone when it comes to, movies. This movie I watch is called In Secret, and I believe this actually it is a book. Um, from a Russian author, I believe. And this is starring Jessica Lange, Elizabeth Olsen, and I don't know the guy's name. And basically, you have a young woman. She is an orphan. Her dad just dropped her off at her aunt's house, and her aunt is horrible, like just mean as a snake. And her aunt also has a son. He's been sickly all of his life, basically. But you know how the mama, he's sickly, but she also, because he's sickly, she dotes on him, and she really does enable him where he just don't know how to be no man. One day, the mom tells her, we're gonna move to Paris and you're gonna get married. And she's like, to who? And she's like, him. You're oh boy, I forgot the character's name. And she's just like, oh God, no. Like, seriously. She can't do anything about it. They get to Paris and he actually gets a job. He's still a little sickly, but he gets a job. The mama moved with him and they own like this little store or something. Girl, he started working, right? And he got a friend that he's known for some time. And his wife starts to have interest in the friend. Yeah, you know what that means. But the way this movie ended, it was like, okay, you weren't expecting that to happen. Yeah, you weren't expecting that to happen. It was really, really good. I would recommend the movie. It isn't one and done because I don't need to see it anymore, but it was a really good movie. And Jessica Lange, I mean, y'all know that's the actress, okay. And I have to say too, Ashley Olsen, she did a really good job. I think this is the first movie I've seen by her. I'm a fan of her sisters, Mary Kate and Ashley. Okay, grew up with Mary Kate and Ashley, but it's so different because Mary Kate and Ashley, their target audience was like kids, teens. They didn't do like adult movies. This is an adult movie. It was like kind of different to see the contrast, but she did a really good job. Okay, next I went old school. I watched a movie called The Blue Gardenia, and this is starring Ann Baxter. This is a thriller, and you have a young woman works at a telephone company, and she is engaged, and her fiance, he actually is fighting overseas, I believe, one of the wars, and he tells her, and it's her birthday, and he sends her a letter, and he tells her, open the open the letter, on your birthday. And so she makes like herself dinner and, everything, sets it all up, right? She opens the letter and he tells her, I'm basically not getting married to you. I found another woman and yeah, so we done. And she's like so distraught, heartbroken. And at first she's like, I'm not gonna go out, but then she gets a call and the young man mistakes her for her roommate. Like, you know what? I'm going to go. So she goes and she tells him, like, by the way, I'm not whoever that girl is. I'm not, so and so. And she basically gets really, really drunk. And this guy kind of like a player. Girl, he take her to the house, his house. He like hits him with something and he basically dies. And so the whole movie they're trying to find out who is the one that killed him. And they're interviewing people from from her job, a telephone company, and everything, her roommates. And yeah, you just see if they go find it out or not. It was really, really good. It honestly was. Like I said, I am a fan of Ann Baxter, and I really like the music in this because it was Nat King Cole. He actually makes a cameo in the film. So yeah, it was a really good movie. I watched it on Prime. Next, this is the horror film I was talking about. I watched The Fall of the House of Usher, and this is a short story by Edgar Allan Poe, and it starred Vincent Price. So, okay, y'all know, like I told you, I don't do no horror or anything like that, and this is considered a horror. I read the short story, I want to say last year. I actually, when I watched it on YouTube, and I was like squinting my eyes at one point and kind of like hiding my face because this story is it's a lot. And also too, Vincent Price like voice is just it's scary in itself. The good thing I liked about this movie, it was actually in color because that's one thing I love old Hollywood movies, but when they in black and white, I feel like I can't see their outfits. So with this one, it was full on color, but you have a young man. Um, They live in this house, and it is doomed, right? It's horrible. And this, well, I forgot the man's name, the one that played Vincent Price. He has a sister. His sister has is she's been seeing a young man, excuse me, and has recently become engaged. And the brother's like, she's sickly. You don't need to take her. I got to take care of her and all that. And he stays in the house and he realizes, like, something's wrong with this house. It's like, just odd things happen. And yeah, that's all I can tell you. Because if I tell you more, I'm going to tell you the whole thing. It was a lot, especially with that sister. And that brother, but that whole family was just off. And when you realize, yeah, eh, it's a it's a story that you're not going to a story you're not going to forget. Also, it's a story that you're not going to figure out until the end. I'm not really a big fan of Edgar Allan Poe because he does write, kind of like the scary type of poems. And then y'all know poetry really don't lift my ham, but I do like one of his poems, which is Annabelle Lee, but that's not a scary poem. That's basically about his, wife. But yeah, this is a one and done. I'm good. Next is Lady Macbeth, and this was a thriller movie. You had, oh, I forgot the little girl, or woman, excuse me, that played in this. Y'all, this was a lot. You have this young woman. It's kind of similar to In Secret, but it's a little different. You have this young woman. She gets married to a man that he don't want her. He don't like her. He don't he don't even sleep with her. They're married and he just do off stuff, right? So she has to leave for a good period of time. And then a young man comes into town and they start a relationship. But the main character, the woman, oh, you got to be careful with her. She do some stuff. You hear me? She does some stuff. And what she did to that little black girl, the little maid servant, I was done. Movie will make you angry because there's no accountability and she got away with so much. It was a good movie. It kept you on your toes though. I have to say, it kept you on your toes. It's a one and done. I don't need to see it again, but I would highly recommend that movie if you like it. It is a kind of like it is a period piece, but it doesn't feel like a period piece because like sometimes period dramas they can be kind of laborious. This one is not. And then the last movie I watched in honor of the late great Diane Keaton, I watched one of my favorite movies by her, and that is The First Wives Club. Watch it on YouTube, and I mean, loved every minute of it. I remember watching this as a kid, and I just love every minute of this movie. I love the opening scene with the pop art, and you have Dionne Warwick singing. I don't know who is my favorite. Like, I love all of them. Um, yeah, I love all of them. And this movie has some heavy hitters, y'all. Goldie Hawn, Diane Keaton, Bette Midler, Sarah Jessica Parker, Maggie Smith. I mean, come on now. This was just A1. I love it. I love the ending scene with the song. Synopsis, if you guys haven't seen this movie. You have four young women. They've known each other since they were in college. And one of the friends, when they get really older, she ends up committing suicide and they haven't seen each other in years, and because of what their friend did, it brings them back together again, and each of them has gotten divorced and their husbands have left them for younger people, for younger women. And so they decide to start basically this club to kind of get back at their husbands. But then something really good comes out of it because they realize, okay, well, we're not just, you know, doing this just to get back at you guys. There is a method to our madness. It is so good, y'all. It is so good. Yeah, if you haven't watched it, please watch it. It's now on YouTube for free. So yeah, I do want to watch more of her movies. I want to watch some of Diane Keaton's earlier films because I've watched a lot of her later films, but not her earlier. Like I want to watch is it Annie Hall? That's what she won an Academy Award for. I want to watch Baby Boom. One of you guys said that's a really good one. It was my little tribute to Diane Keaton. So yeah, that is it for the movies. Lastly, let's get to the music. Now y'all know last month I told you I was on my Luther Vandross kick, right? So I'm now I think I'm kind of done, and I have also discovered my favorite Luther Vandross song of all times. So I listened to Luther Vandross' whole catalog. I don't have a favorite album of his, but I do have a favorite song. My favorite song of Luther Vandross that I have been listening to nonstop is Love Won't Let Me Wait, and it is from this album Any Love. Y'all, that song, oh my gosh, from the beginning to the end, I that's my favorite song of his of all times, hands down. At first it was um Make Me a Believer. Love Won't Let Me Wait is my favorite. Also listen to Busybody, and the one song that I love on this one is Make Me a Believer, and of course Superstar Until You Come Back to Me. And then I listen to Forever for Always for Love. Love that song too. I also love, have you guys listened to Layla Hathaway do a cover of that? I'm gonna be honest. I think I like Layla's a little bit better than Luther's. Girl, this is another album that I really do like too of his, because you got Bad Boy, Have a Party, love that. Since I Lost My Baby, Forever for Always for Love, Promise Me. Oh gosh, yes. Last one I listened to is Give Me the Reason. This one he got skinny, y'all. And of course, Love Stop to Love. I love that video with Lisa Fisher in it. What else? I love So Amazing. Give Me the Reason. And I think that's it for. Oh, and There's Nothing Better Than Love. That's featuring Gregory Hines. Which Gregory Hines, I got to give it to him. He was able to hold his own, because you sing it with Luther Vandross and you can hold your own with Luther Vandross. You good. Y'all not black people. We talented. We can do everything. When a black person can sing, is not shocking. But yes, I was on a Luther kick this month. Still listening to Luther. And the last album that I listened to, oh y'all, we lost another great, D'Angelo, Brown Sugar, which, you know what? I'm so glad that I got this album. I asked for this last year for Christmas. Y'all, this album now, they want some serious bucks for it. And I think my sister only paid, I think it was like 30 something bucks, 30, 35, something like that. When I looked on Amazon, it was like 100 and something. I'm so glad that I ended up getting this album for Christmas. But my new favorite song from this album is When We Get By. Another song that I love that's not a single is All Right. And I think Me and Those Dreamy Eyes of Mine was a single, but I don't think it did too well. Um, yes. And then, of course, Love Lady. I love his version of Cruisin'. Love Brown Sugar, of course. It says composed, written, arranged, and produced and performed by D'Angelo. Yeah, he was beyond talented. Yeah, the month of October, it was Luther and D'Angelo the whole entire month. But yeah, guys, that is it when it comes to this video. Again, I had a really good month in October. I'm so excited to see next month. Y'all, can you believe the year's almost over? It went like this. I don't think I'm ready for the holidays yet. I don't do, like, you know how some people, they November 1st they put up their Christmas decorations. Now I wait until December. Okay. Because again, I'm not ready. I'm not ready yet. But yeah, again, I'm so excited to see what I'm gonna be reading in November. And yeah, that's all I have for you guys. I'll be back with more Black Books.